Hi guys, I hope you are having a great spring break. I am going to go over the test review and what's going to be on the test and what I'm going to give you for the test. So first, what to study. If you look in Moodle, everything in Unit 7 will be on the test, everything. So there are 5 PowerPoints. Each PowerPoint has about 5 slides. So I suggest you go through each one of them and make sure you know the vocabulary words, how to do the processes of the 5 types of reactions, and how to bring down formula to name and balance the equations. So so study everything in Unit 7 and study the quiz. If you look at your quiz that I passed back to you, you may notice that look at what you were weak on. Because some of you were weak on bringing the name down to the formula because you didn't know the diatomic molecules, or you didn't know if it was ionic or covalent, or you didn't know the rules. So make sure you go through that. And if you don't know how to name these molecules yet, that doesn't go away in any test you will take for the rest of the school year and any chemistry class you ever encounter. So make sure you know how to do that. Because that's going to hurt your grade from now on. So if you are weak at naming these chemicals, make sure you go back to Unit 7 and watch my review video for that. I show you how to name every type of molecule, from acids to ionic compounds to covalent compounds. You definitely need to know this for this test, next test, final, everything. All right, what will the test look like? You're going to have 6 multiple choice questions. There aren't any matching, but there are 6 multiple choice questions. There are 20 application questions. So when I say application questions, that's like this. Sorry, my fingernail's ugly, but that's like this right here. It's like kind of like, I don't know, short answer where you're actually doing the problem. Honors, you will need to know mixtures, electron configuration, and you'll need to know how to tell which metal is more reactive on that activity series sheet, okay? All right, then you guys will be able to turn in the review for extra credit, as always, 5 points. Make sure you bring it on the day of the test. I don't want to be taking late reviews. Otherwise, you doing the review after the test doesn't really help. All right, so what I'm going to give you on the test is all of the polyatomic ions. I only made you memorize those 7 for the last test. So they will all be on this test. You'll have all of them. And then on this side, you'll get the activity series for metals and the activity series for nonmetals. And, of course, your periodic table. No, you can't use your own. I will give you this one. It has the charges on it. Just remember that if they are nonmetals, you use the charges that are the trends on the periodic table. If it's the transition metals and kind of the ones that lead towards the metalloids, you use the charge that's listed here. Okay, so kind of an overview of the test and the topic. Okay, so an overview of the test and the topic. So this test is kind of a small amount of material compared to the last one. So really all we're doing is writing and balancing. That's a B. Chemical equations. Okay, so that's one major topic. And then the second major topic will be the 5 types of reactions. Okay, so the 5 types of reactions. So those are the main topics on the test. So writing and balancing chemical equations, that's like saying you're going to have to sodium chloride. So the main thing is you're bringing like that down. You'll see sodium is Na plus 1 charge, chloride is Cl minus 1 charge. You cross them down, that's NaCl 1-to-1 ratio, and then you balance it. That's writing and balancing chemical equations with the arrows and the plus signs and whatever, monatomic, diatomic. 5 types of reactions. You're going to predict the products. That's nothing. So predict products and, of course, balance them. So how do you predict a product? So basically there are 5 types of reactions, okay? 2, 3, 4, well, daggum. We'll do 5 over here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5 types of reactions. So the first one we're going to say is synthesis. That's A plus B will yield AB, okay? Synthesis, you are probably saying it out loud. Okay, decomposition. And we wrote these on the board the last couple of days of school. Position. That's where we have AB will decompose into A plus B. And remember, there are 3 exceptions. 3 exceptions. Okay, that's with like the chlorate, carbonate, and hydroxide. Make sure you look those up. Next, we have single replacement. Mr. Steal Your Girl. Okay, that's when you have single person plus a couple. If this single person is higher on the activity series sheet, it's going to steal the nonmetal, so it'll be AC plus B, okay? Then we have double replacement. So on this single replacement, that's where you look at the activity series, okay? That's the only one where we're going to look at this side. This whole side is only for single replacement, okay? Then we have double replacement. Okay, just assume that reaction is going to take place, just like you're going to assume this one, and just assume this one and combustion will take place, okay? The only one where you have to decide whether that reaction will happen or not is the single replacement. So double replacement, that's where we have 2 couples or 2 compounds. That's supposed to be a C. 2 compounds will yield 2 different compounds because the metals traded places. So we'll have an AD plus B. Nope, it's supposed to be C, B, because C is the metal. Anyways. All right, then we have combustion. That's an S. Where we have something plus oxygen will yield something, depending on what that is, plus H2O or water, okay? So that could be carbon, nitrogen, I don't know, all the other ones, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen. There's one more. All right, so we're going to move on to our review. Okay, so we have lithium oxide. So I'm sorry, it says convert the following word equations into formula equations but do not balance. So we're just going to bring them down. This is where most of you had issues on your quiz. So make sure that if you were one of those to go ahead and review Unit 6, or else you will again have a little bit of trouble on the test. So lithium oxide. So lithium, I like to write this is, when doing this, again, you want to ask yourself if it's an element or a compound. If it's an element, is it monatomic or diatomic? If it's a compound, is it ionic or covalent? Okay. And then if it's diatomic, it's one of those 7. If it's monatomic, you just bring the word down. If it's ionic, you do the charges and then you cross them down. If it's covalent, it's the prefixes, the mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, and deca. Those are the prefixes. All right, so lithium oxide, you have lithium and you have oxide, which is a negative, which is just oxygen. So lithium is over here, it's a +1 charge. Oxygen is over here, it's the -2 charge. So lithium +1, oxygen -2, they're going to cross down, so we will have Li2O. Then we draw our yield sign, and then we have lithium. Lithium is an element. It's monatomic because it's not on the diatomic list. So I'm just going to bring it down. Oxygen is an element. It is not monatomic. It's on the diatomic list. So it will have a 2 as a subscript. Okay, so we're not balancing, so we're moving on. So silver arsenate. Metal, non-metal, so that's ionic, so it's compound and ionic, so we're going to do the charges and cross them down. So silver is Ag. Silver is right here with a +1 charge. There's only one charge, so we're just going to use that +1 charge. Arsenate is not on the periodic table, but on our list of polyatomic ions. Arsenate is all the way down here. So we have arsenate ASO4 with a -3 charge. So we have arsenate, which is ASO4 with a -3 charge. So what we're going to do is cross these charges down, and we have silver 3 arsenate ASO4. That's it. Plus we have, this is a compound, this is a metal, this is a non-metal, so it's ionic. So we have calcium sulfate. If it was sulfide, it'd be the periodic table. If it was sulfide, it'd be this, okay? And spelling doesn't matter, it's just another way of spelling sulfur, and that's okay. But since it's sulfate, we find it here. I wrinkled my paper. Sulfate is right here, so it's SO4 -2. So we have SO4 -2. Calcium is on our periodic table. Okay, calcium, it is a +2 charge because it's in group 2. So we have a +2 charge. This is +2, this is -2, so they're going to be in a 1-to-1 ratio. You can bring them down, but you'll get Ca2, SO4 2, but don't forget to reduce. I see a lot of you mess that up too, so don't forget to reduce it to its empirical formula because it is an ionic compound. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, SO4, and that's it, okay? Then we have calcium arsenate, it's ionic, Ca +2. Arsenate is ASO4 -3, so that will yield Ca3. We need to put in parentheses because it's a polyatomic ion. We can't just add a 2 and add an 8. We have to put it in parentheses and keep it the same. So ASO4, and we have 2 of them. Plus silver, Ag, +1 charge. Sulfate, which is SO4 -2. Bring the charges down. Okay, so we have Ag2SO4, and then that's our formula. We don't have to balance it yet, okay? Moving on, aluminum bromide. So aluminum bromide, that is metal, non-metal, it's ionic. So Al, so aluminum is right here. It's a +3 charge. So Al +3. Bromide, since that ide is here, we know we're looking at the periodic table of bromine. So we don't look at this when it's a non-metal or when it's over here. Remember guys, only from metalloids and over through the transition metals do we look at the charges here, okay? But bromine or bromide is in group 17, so it's a -1 charge, so Br -1. We're going to cross them down, and we have Al Br3 plus fluorine. Fluorine is an element, and it is diatomic, so fluorine with a 2 since it's diatomic. Aluminum fluoride, that's a compound, Al +3. F fluoride is right here, -1. Also guys, a lot of you were trying to put charges here. That's bad behavior. Don't put charges on a single element. We don't worry about it. We only worry about charges if it's an ionic compound and we have to write the formula. We don't want to put charges on a monatomic ion, and we definitely don't want to put charges on these things. These things are covalent bonds, so we don't worry about charges here either. So only do charges if it's a compound and if it's an ionic compound. Otherwise, if it's monatomic or covalent, don't worry about it. Anyways, cross these down. AlF3 plus bromine, which is an element, and it's diatomic. So Br, since it's diatomic, we have that too. We're done. Nitrogen, it's an element. It's on the diatomic list, so we're going to write a 2 here. Oxygen, element, so we just have to write it. Plus, it is diatomic, so we write the 2. How do I know if it's diatomic? There's only 7 of them. If it has those 7, it's diatomic. If it doesn't, it's not. It's hydrogen, nitrogen, fluorine, oxygen, iodine, iodine, chlorine, bromine.